Hey everybody, Rick from agiprodj.com. I actually am a mobile DJ sales specialist. I work with DJ Ty, and I actually own and operate a high-end wedding DJ entertainment company based out of Eugene, Oregon. It's called Bases Loaded. Some of you may have seen my YouTube channel, and a lot of people that visit AGI Pro DJ's channel on YouTube will also watch and subscribe to Bases Loaded and vice versa. The video you're about to watch is hopefully useful to you. Thanks for checking it out. Hi everybody, Rick from Bases Loaded, coming at you with like a part 2 of the importance of subwoofers, not only what subwoofers do, but the phenomenon that happens when you put them together. And so this is some information that can frustrate you if you haven't really got your feet wet in it. You can get real frustrated in less than an hour's time hopping on Google or hopping on any of the forums for pro audio or DJ forums. For every 100 people you talk to, there's like almost 100 different opinions out there of what happens when you put subwoofers side by side. Obviously, getting a sub in the system makes it sound better in and of itself. This particular sub is 1,000 watts of power. So pretend for a second that you just had one of these. I think these are rated for 135 decibels max. It's going to sound pretty good. And if you have an inkling to make your sound system better in any way that would be immediate and right off the bat, it's going to make it better, add a second one. Now, if you just had these two subs apart, and oftentimes you'll see guys that'll set these up on one end of the table, so one sub there and one would be on the other side of the table. What that has done effectively, it has doubled the power. So instead of 1,000 watts, you now have 2,000 watts. Some of the numbers I'm going to throw at you are things that I've learned over the years through trial and error and research. But just to be thorough, I contacted one of the top audio engineers in the country, a very well-respected man by the name of Bob Lee. He's now the chief audio engineer for QSC. And just to chat with him and say, hey, here's what I've been told and here's what I think. Back me up on this. Because when I put videos out there, I want them to be useful. But more importantly, I want them to be accurate. I want you to be confident that the stuff I tell you is absolutely spot on. So what happens when you add a second sub is you now have 2,000 watts of power. No matter how you set this up and put it in the room, you've got 2,000 watts. What that has done is given you a 3 decibel increase in the overall dB rating of your sound system. May not sound like a lot, but and again, if you hop on the forums, a lot of guys will tell you that when you increase 3 decibels, you have doubled the output of the sound, or it's twice the volume. It's absolutely not correct. That is not accurate. And by comparison, when you go up in decibels by about 10 dB, the human ear perceives that as twice the output, or twice the volume of sound that's coming out. So if you went from 100 to 110 decibels, human ear perceives that as a doubling of the sound, 110 to 120, doubling. So when we're talking about going up potentially up to 6 dB more, when you think about it, if you went from 125 to 131 and you went up 6, theoretically that's like the human ear saying that's about 2/3 louder again than it was before you started. So it's a pretty cool feature to be able to talk about. So does 3 dB really make that big of a difference? It actually does. And one way to think about it is if someone tells you to turn your volume up a notch or down a notch is basically what the human ear can interpret as a difference. So if you raise 3 dB in your sound system, that's noticeable. If you go and jam out at a club one night and it sounds okay, but then the next day you go to the same club and it feels different, feels better, there's a difference, that could be the 3 dB difference. So it's not twice the output, twice the volume, it's double the power. So for every 3 decibel increase, you need twice the amount of power. Doing it with one sub, rocking this at 700 or 800 watts continuously, the only way to get 3 dB is to double it. Can't be done with one, you have to add the second one. Here's the phenomenon that happens when you put both of these side by side, and this is called coupling. This is where 118 and the other 18 start working in unison, almost synergistically. So the sum of their parts equals more than the 2 separate added together. That's quite a line full. So let me see if I can break that down. You actually will get a benefit if these are identical. Don't mix and match your subwoofers. In other words, don't put an 18 with a 15. Don't put a JBL with a QSC. I would even go as far as to say if the woofer goes out in this thing, don't replace it with anything else other than the original equipment manufacturer. They have to be identical. When these two work together, the dB increase as a bonus, and this is totally free, is somewhere between 1 and 3 decibels. That comes down to overall room acoustics. Every room you go to is going to be slightly different. It also comes down to what actual specific frequency you're measuring. But just as a rule of thumb, just know that when you put these two monsters side by side, you're going to get potentially the upwards of another 3 decibel increase on top of the 3 you had just by having number 2. So that means by coupling the subs, you get from 3 to 6 decibel increase in the sound system. And that's a total bonus. So if you're looking at dropping some money on a way that will make your sound system sound remarkably better, that is one easy way to do it, is to get number 2 and then put these side by side. That's the whole secret. And the other thing you want to do is we'll probably shoot another video describing how you would wire these, because that does matter. The only application, other than certain room setups that you would want to have a speaker on one side and then the other, is if maybe you wanted some kind of funky stereo type effect. These are going to actually be wired to receive a mono sum signal, and we'll go more in depth with that maybe in a second video. The purpose of this is just to kind of remind you, guys, set yourself apart from your competition, do things that your competitors don't. And even if you leave the competition out of it, do things that your clients and your customers are going to walk away saying, wow, that sounded pretty doggone good, much better than things we've been to in the past. So put your subs together and you'll experience that difference. It's definitely worth it. Thanks for checking out all the videos. I think at the time that I'm shooting this, my first subwoofer video I did about 2 years ago has, I think, around 50,000 views. I appreciate all the support. The one thing I've learned is that DJs all seem to have an opinion and they all kind of want to tear each other apart. I'm here to do quite the opposite, and that is to share useful and accurate information. So I really appreciate you subscribing to the channel, for asking the questions, and good luck with all your endeavors. Thanks for checking it out.